Good evening. It is the 25th of October, Friday. It's just turned 6:30 and I'm just coming out to do a little bit of an Uber shift. I haven't done an Uber shift for about a week. I've been too busy, to be honest, with my own personal life, my own private jobs that I've been doing. So yeah, it's been quite busy, to be honest. I've just thought, with it being Friday night, I haven't got anything on, neither tomorrow night, so I'll come out and see what it's like. It's just started raining, so hopefully that'll be a little bit of a plus. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really had anything to do with Uber for like the past week. They did finally refund me that £10 for the magnetic plates. It took them about a good 2 weeks to refund me, and I was probably sending them 2 to 3 messages every day, just saying, you know, what's going on, where's my money, where's my refund. And then finally, I think just because I've pestered them to death, they've finally sent the money back. So yeah, if anyone is struggling with Uber, the only way to get through to them is basically just to pester them to death, and then they eventually give you an answer or they'll refund you. So yeah, just about to go online now, and I will try and keep you updated shortly, so I'll catch you in a bit. So a little update time. It is 10 o'clock, however I came offline at about 10 to 9, something like that. So I started at 6:30 and I done what, 2 hours 20 minutes, something like that. It hasn't been the greatest, to be honest. It's been quite slow. Let's go back and have a look at a couple of these jobs. Where are we? Right, so I didn't get my first job for about 10 or 15 minutes. I then got a little Southport to Southport, £6.95 for 2.8 miles. I then got an XL for 2.2 miles, which was £8.24. A £3.72 for 0.9 of a mile. I then had a 7.80 with a £1 tip, so I just thanked them. £8.80 for 3.3 miles. £5.03 for 1.6 miles. £5.45 for 3.3 miles. A £4.83 for 1.3 miles. A £3.79 for 2.1 miles. Keep in mind, this is like peak time on a Friday night, and the fares are just ridiculous. A £4.47 for 2 miles. So I thought I'll go and get a bit of a top up, because I only came out with like half a tank because I've been using my car today, or the bus should I say. So yeah, I went and had my tea and had a little bit of a top up. So for them 2 hours 20 minutes, I made £50.28. So it works out at it would work out at around £20 an hour, but yeah, 50 quid for nearly 2.5 hours on a Friday night. Crap, really crap. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. The fares are ridiculous. Some of them had been knocking back. Didn't take a screenshot of one before. No, I don't think I did I? No. Some of the jobs that have come up, they were shocking. They wanted me, again, XL jobs. You know, they would want me to drive like all the way to Formby, which was like 6 miles away, to do a 2 mile job, and they were offering me like £5 or something. It's just like stupidity. So I've purposely been knocking back all the stupid jobs. As soon as it pops up, I've just been clicking X on them. So on that session that I'd done, which was like the 2 hours 20 minutes, I'd been offered 20 trips and I'd taken 9 of them. You know, so over 50% of the jobs that were offered to me were ridiculous. A lot of them were miles away. Like, even just, it was just like an X job, but they still wanted me to travel like 5 or 6 miles to it to do like a 2 mile job. the money's just crap. It's so crap. I'm so glad for the past week I've basically just been doing my own like airport transfers, and when you go from making that sort of money to coming across to doing this, you just think, what's the point? I mean, I'm out now on a Friday night and I earn more on a weekday in the quiet hours than I do on a Friday night. So it's like, what's the point working on a Friday night? I'll probably come out tomorrow night and I'll compare tonight and tomorrow nights on like previous weekends, and if it's crap, I'm just not going to work Friday and Saturday night anymore, because there's honestly no point. Uber to me has turned into purely just a filler and nothing else. So, you know, if you've went and done like a private job and I've like dropped someone off at like Liverpool airport, instead of driving back empty, Uber's good to jump on then. You know, you might get something coming back, or you might get a job that's a couple of quid. It's a couple of quid more than what you would have had. But yeah, to come out and just be getting jobs for less than £1 a mile, honestly, it's pointless. It's certainly pointless for a Friday and Saturday night, considering, you know, the your weekend that you're giving up. You'd rather be at home spending time with the family. So yeah, up to now it's crap. So it's just turned 10 o'clock now. I'm just about to come off charge, and I will see what happens over the next hour. If it's really crap and the jobs are still that are being offered to me are still like £1 or less than £1 a mile, honestly, I'm just going to log off and just go home, because I would honestly be at home watching telly, because I'm not going to be somebody's slave. It's ridiculous, the amount of YouTubers that I've seen over the past week. I think there was another guy that I watch, he'd done a little short, and I think he'd done like a half an hour shift. He'd set off last Friday. The jobs that were being offered were ridiculous. He just turned around and went back home. So Uber's doing a really good job of basically thinning the drivers out, because there's going to be a lot of people who are just either going to be leaving or going over to local firms and whatnot, which you would think would push the fares up, because then there's obviously less drivers, but it's not. They're basically just constantly pushing the wage down. I mean, I know I've only been doing it for about 2 months, but for the first like month or so, it wasn't too bad. You know, you had to put the hours in, but it wasn't the greatest. But yeah, over the past 2 to 3 weeks, it's just gone right down the pan. It's ridiculous what they're offering for some of the jobs. So yeah, I'll go back on now, and yeah, the next update will either be I'm still out, or I'll be on my driveway because I've had enough. So I'll catch you in a bit. Final update, it is 2 AM and I've just got home. So the last update, where was we? We stopped, was it around 9 o'clock, charged up, and I carried on at 10 o'clock. So it's been excuse me, 4 hours since the last update. Just have a little scroll back. Not too far. This is all over the place. What's it doing? Should have had this ready, really. It's not showing up properly. Don't know what it's doing. It's starting from 10:30 for some reason. I don't know why it's not starting from 10 o'clock. It's showing me the previous job, but maybe it's this one. No time on it. I do need to sort that app out. Yeah, it'll be this one. So 10 past, yeah. So we're on a 6:59 for 1.5 miles. That includes a £2 tip, by the way, for that one. Excuse me. Again, I was still in Southport for all of these. 6.71 for 3.5. Then I had an XL, 837 for 2.2, and then a 371 for 1.1 miles, and then a 635 plus a £2 tip, which I've just thanked them for. So 835 for 1.7 miles, a 375 for 1.5 miles, a 386 for 1.3 miles. I then had an XL, which was £13.15 for a 3.2, plus a £2 tip, so £15.15 for 3.2. Then had a surge job, £13.03 for 2.5 miles, a 545 for 2.7, a 428 for 2.5, a 450 for £2.5, sorry, for 2.5. At that time it was not far off 1 o'clock, started to go a bit quiet, so I thought I might swing by Ormskirk before I come home, because sometimes you get like loads of studies and whatnot who are wanting to go home. Just as I was about to leave Southport, I then got a job which was Southport to Ormskirk, so worked out quite well, saved me running back empty. That was 1184 for 9.3 miles. I then got there, I had another job which I think was like £8 to £9. So I turned up where he wanted me to pick him up. Now I could see the dot and he was miles away, like on the other side of the town centre where his GPS was, so I obviously went to the dot because that's when it starts the job. So I pull up, sit there for a couple of minutes, but his dot is getting further and further away. So I know what he's done, but what they tend to do when they're drunk is they'll be walking, they'll say I want an Uber, they'll book it, which drops the pin where they are, but then they just carry on walking. So then you go to the pin and they might be at, you know, a mile away, God knows where they've gone. So this guy says, where are you? Now I hate it when people are rude like that. You can tell just a simple oh hi, where are you? It's just real basic. So he says, where are you? So straight away I was annoyed the way he was speaking to me, so I said, I'm parked at the pickup point where you've selected on the map. So then he just replies, McDonald's, because I could tell where he was, where his GPS was, he was near McDonald's. So I thought, well, that's got nothing to do with me. 10 seconds later he messages back, Aldi. I'm like, that's great. I'm thinking, that's not where you've put the pin. You know, you're a fully grown man, you know how to use the app, and you just you know, you're talking to me like I'm stuck to the bottom of your shoe. So anyway, 3 minutes by then I'd already elapsed, so the other 2 minutes elapsed and I just cancelled it and got me £3.75. I then had done an XL for the laziest students, so basically I was like 0.1 of a mile away, and 5 of them paid £6.64 for 0.6 of a mile, so I took them from the university to the pizza shop because they couldn't be bothered walking. And then by this point it was like not far off 2 o'clock, and then the job pops up, and I hate the way it just gives you postcodes. Why can't it just give you like the little village or the little town name, because then you'll know where it is. So this job pops up, which was like less than a mile away, and when I was zooming in on the map, it kind of looked like near where I lived. Well, sorry, where I live, but again, when you zoom in it doesn't come up with like any names or anything, so you just got to kind of gauge it roughly off the map. So I said, yeah, go on, I'll accept that, because it was like 11 quid. So I drove over, picked him up, and he goes, thanks for picking me up. I was like, why, what's up? He said, oh well, he said, the last 3 have all cancelled on me. He said, this is the 3rd time I've paid for this trip now. And straight away I thought, wow, I bet you it's that guy who was walking through Ormskirk town centre who I just cancelled before I picked up that previous XL. And I said, oh, why, what's happened? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I keep booking it and no one's turning up. And then it's charging me like £5.75 every time it happens. And I said, oh, I don't know why that is. I said, because I said that as a driver, the only way we can cancel a job is if we arrive there, because then the job starts. I said, and then we have to sit there for 5 minutes before we're allowed to cancel it. He went, no, definitely not. He said, I've booked it. He said, you're the third taxi now I've booked. He said, and all the others I've basically said that they were here and they weren't or something. So I was just kind of thinking it was definitely him. So basically what he's been doing is he's obviously booked me, but he's just carried on walking. And then after I've cancelled, I've went and done another job. He's then obviously booked another Uber, which would have been by McDonald's and Aldi where he was. And then he's carried on walking further out the town centre. So the next driver would have then turned up to McDonald's where he booked it, and they've cancelled it on him as well. And then where I've picked him up was probably, you know, the next stepping stone basically. So yeah, myself and someone else would have cancelled and took the money because he's walking. And lo and behold, he was like, yeah, he said, oh, I've been on holiday. This guy's like 50 or 60, been on holiday for a week. So I've been drinking all week. I got back at 8 o'clock this morning. I told the wife I'm just going out for like an hour or two. And I've been out with my mate all day. So he's been out with his mate for about 12 hours drinking. And he's wondering why he's booking all these Ubers and none of them are picking him up. Because he's obviously walking. I don't know if he thinks it's like some sort of like homing beacon. He just presses a button and the driver will come and find you. So anyway, it turns out this guy lived, obviously once I started the journey, the address popped up and he lived probably about 60 seconds away from me. So it was quite handy. It was a £12.33 for 9.2 miles. So yeah, I dropped him off basically just round the corner and then came straight home. So not too bad. So I finished the shift, even though it's quite a short shift, on £168.33. Done 7.5 hours. Obviously I've deducted the hour for when I've had my tea and charged up. So it works out at about £22.44 an hour. So it's not the greatest. But some of the jobs, honestly, the amount of, I reckon probably at least 70% of the jobs that have come through I've had to ignore and just knock back because they were just ridiculous. Took another screenshot of another one here before. An XL, I was in Southport, an XL job pops up. They were offering £5.99. They wanted me to drive 8.1 miles to Liverpool, just 17 minutes away, to do a 1.4 mile job. You know, so they want me to do what, 9.5 miles for £5.99. It's just ridiculous. And then another one pops up. I think this one's the winner. So I was in Ormskirk. They wanted me to drive again, XL job. It's always the XL that does this. So there's obviously no XLs in Uber. That's the only thing I can assume. They wanted me to drive 15.1 miles away, which was 24 minutes, to kind of like South Wigan, to do a 2.9 mile trip over to Warrington. So in total they wanted me to do 18 miles and they were offering me £8.46. So again, obviously I had to cancel that. Not cancel it, but you know, not accept it. So it's those kind of ridiculous jobs that keep just popping up over and over again, and then obviously I can't take them because it's too far away. Just double check my rating, see if anyone's left, if there's been any Karens or anything. No. Yeah, so if you look at my confirmation rating now, it's dropped from kind of mid-60s and we're now down to 49%. So it's definitely a thing Uber are doing intentionally, because obviously for you to be, you know, like a gold and a platinum, you need your confirmation rates and your driver ratings to be above certain levels. So the only way they can knock drivers down is by offering them absolutely ridiculous jobs, and that's exactly what they're doing. So it won't be long now until I won't be eligible. I won't meet the criteria for certain levels because Uber's forcing me to go down. Like, Uber wants me to go and do an 18-mile job for £8, and that seems to be the only way to stick with it. So yeah, it's obviously ridiculous, but that's Uber for you, I suppose. And all I could recommend to anyone who's thinking about doing Uber or is doing Uber, 100% go and get your operator's license and basically just use Uber as a filler. Like, I don't mind coming out on maybe like a Friday and a Saturday because the hourly rate is a bit better, but yeah, everything just seems to be rigged. Is the only way I can think of it. You know, they're forcing the prices down and they're purposely offering jobs that they know that you're not going to take. You'd have to be clinically insane to accept these jobs that they're offering, and the majority of the jobs that I've been offered, like I've just gone over, they're all really small fares. You know, you have to keep in mind this is a Friday night, you know, and the jobs I'm getting offered are like, you know, £3.75, £4.50, £4.30, £5.40, £3.86, £3.75, £3.71. They're all tiny little jobs. They're the kind of jobs that you do, you know, on a weekday in the quiet hours. So it's just, I don't know, something's going to have to change with Uber, or it's there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be leaving, I suppose. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to be out again tomorrow, but yeah, it's not going to be till probably 5-6 o'clock. I've got a lot on tomorrow. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.